Hi everyone, I'm Nintendo Universe, and today is the final day for the trilogy of videos I've been making. I haven't counted how long it's been since the first part was worked on, but I know it's been at least longer than a week that I've been working on these videos. And now we're finally there. We're finally ready to solve the great answer that's been ringing in my ear ever since I went to Faron for a big adventure. Here's the facts we already know, included from part 1 and part 2, that'll help us answer part 3. There's no monsters could have grouped together if they were different. Many bokoblins or many Lizalfos could group together, so that is possible. That is our main fact. And there's one other fact, but I'll only bring it up later since it has no significance to the beginning of the video. Now let's get to answering some of the tough questions, like how do we know anything about the Lizalfos at this point? We've almost gone through everything. There's still so much to learn though, so we'll continue looking at many clues that I've found. Okay, let's go through the one thing that I thought of but then had to disprove. Lynels are very smart. Couldn't the Lizalfos get some Lynels? Actually, no. I looked through the entire Faron region and I couldn't find one. And right here, I'm going to show you a big clue, not to the Lynels, I will talk about afterwards, but to Lizalfos. Do you see the Lizalfos? Other than being like a lizard, what is it wearing? Armor? Yes. And I'll go deeper to this armor, almost so deep that it'll be the exact answer to our mystery. So, let's talk about the armor. As you can see, it fits a Lizalfos very well, but it doesn't fit it so that it's part of them. Actually, the armor has nuts and bolts, and if it was truly themselves making it, it would be all around their body. And I won't forget to mention that it does camouflage with them, but that's probably because since they're monsters, they have that ability, and that their horns are also magical sometimes. It could help them camouflage everything. And recently, I started playing Kirby Star Allies, because I'm a pretty big Kirby fan. And when I noticed the Meta Knight battle, I figured out how much armor Meta Knight wears. It's necessary for battling and invading. So the Lizalfos wore it. So let's think here. In the Hyrule Compendium, which I also mentioned in part 2, if you haven't seen part 2 or part 1, please do before you continue the video. It stated that Lizalfos lived underwater. I made a clue that they used to live underwater when they were younger, and that monsters were around before Calamity Ganon, allowing them to have ages. So that meant, well, here's one thing. Ever wore very, very heavy armor underwater? No, nobody does. Because it would sink you to the bottom, especially their solid armor, and you wouldn't be able to get back up, even if you were a great swimmer. So, they would have to wear this armor. Wearing the armor, was it prior to them invading the regions? Possibly. This is one thing we can't really know when they got it. But this does key in to our mystery. As you can think about it, armor is necessary for any good fight. But what else is necessary in battle other than armor? Well, weapons. And if you ever look at Lizalfos' weapons, they're metal. Always metal. Yeah, if they're wood, it's probably because you see them in weaker areas. Even then, that was probably because they refuged there. No Lizalfos would want to hit you with a tree branch. But honestly, since their weapons are all metal, wouldn't that mean they could hone electricity? This could hurt each Lizalfos. So why is it that some of them have electrical horns? And also, why are they always usually carrying bows? All a great mystery, right? Okay, let's go through one key thing here. Wearing armor is good and all, but let's get into my theory on their camouflaging. Each region they are in, Gawardu Highlands, Gawardu Desert, Faron region, Zora's Domain, all of these places have unique colors in their nature. So that would mean in order for the Lizalfos to hunt there and attack Link there, they would have to camouflage with their areas. But so does their armor with them. We've covered that they make the armor camouflage with them due to some magic. Let's explain the camouflaging effect, though, and how it's flawed very much. So, the whole camouflage, magic binds it together, but here's the thing. To camouflage in different areas, you need to have those colors. A lot of lizards do camouflage, but it's their actual color that camouflages. So, what do I mean by this? What I mean by it is, look at the Lizalfos when they do camouflage. You can still see their eyes, their weapon. You know it's them if you walk up to them. Well, until they attack you, unless you're wearing a mask or something. But here's my problem. If everyone can see them so well, why do they even camouflage? Yeah, they're dumb, but they're not that dumb to learn that each time they try to hunt, the hunt runs away. So, their flawed camouflage, I know they're dumb. I mean, seriously, those things are almost all the monsters probably need to go to school someday. But here's the thing. They're not so stupid to not know that they're hunting bad. So, why do they camouflage so horribly? There's actually an answer. And it's not because they were tired from war or they just can't. No, it's because they're monster parts. As you know, when you kill a Lizalfos, you get its horn, its talon, its tail. But there's one thing you never get. Its eyes. Now, I'm not trying to sound creepy, but can't you get Keese eyeballs, Octorok eyeballs? And here's the thing, you're probably like, well, Keese have one huge eyeball. But what about Octoroks? Their eyes are visible, yeah, but they're not a huge main part. When you first see an Octorok in the game, you don't think, oh, look at his eyes. No, you think, oh, look at the weird octopus creature shooting rocks at me, blowing up like a Kirby or something. So, why do we never get the eyes? Yeah, we never get Bokoblin eyes. Those things are tiny. Moblin eyes, they're hard to see, and yeah, they're tiny. But Lizalfos eyes really stick out. Is there any specific reason we don't get them? Yeah, bad vision. Like really bad vision. So here's my thing about the eyeballs of a monster. Yeah, we don't get eyeballs from Choo-Choos, and they're huge. We never get Hinox eyeballs, and they're huge. Here's the thing. When you defeat a Hinox, you're shooting it either first in the eye or all in the belly. But that's actually pretty hard since, well, huge hitboxes, but you won't hurt it as much or knock it down or, you know what, just listen to this theory. We don't get Hinox eyeballs because we damage them. Even if you don't, it's not like the game intended for you to hit its belly a million times. We don't get Choo-Choo eyeballs because they're made of jelly. Those eyes just happen to be on their head. Technically, they don't have a head. Another reason they won't give you the eyeballs. Another reason is that the eyeballs have no correlation to the monster. As Keese, their whole thing is eyeballs. But Octoroks, yeah, I'm still working on why the Octoroks have eyeballs that fall. I might just make a theory video on it, I don't know. But think of it. What if the Lizalfos had really bad vision? What if that was why they usually run to you, not strategize? Why do they only spit water in their tongue at you? So, we don't get the eyeballs because of maybe bad vision. Another thing to put in is that with the whole bad vision problem, there's always the idea that maybe they have good vision, but Nintendo just doesn't give you the eyeballs. This is where it gets disappointing for a lot of theorists. They come to a point where they're starting to approach Nintendo territory, where you can't answer a question until it pops in your head, oh, Nintendo did it. So I'm gonna go back to Kirby Star Allies for this. While I don't want to approach saying Nintendo just forgot to do this or Nintendo did it because they just didn't want Lizalfos eyeballs in people's pockets, here's what I go to when I hit Nintendo territory. I go back into the video game and look at the possibilities by their armor, okay? You don't get their armor when they die. Neither do you for any other monsters wearing anything. So now you're like, wait, then why did you say the armor keys into the entire mystery? That's because the armor is war-driven. You'll understand once I go deeper into it. So, war-driven. Here, if you look at it, you can see scars on the armor. You can see that it's damaged. Not too much, but it is. Obviously, they haven't gone through too many hard times, but you can see the scars. And if you look at it talking to me, just wait. And if you look closely, you can see one thing that keys off. It's that this armor wasn't stolen. It wasn't refuged. But it was made for them. Do you really think Lizalfos could have made this by themselves? Isn't there someone that loves monsters so much? Kilton. While you may be thinking, yeah, but he'll buy monster parts from you. Sure. I'm not saying Kilton made all the armor for all the Lizalfos, but Kilton had something to do with it. Something big. So what did Kilton do that was so big for the Lizalfos? Here's my theory on that. And like I said, a lot of answers will be questioned in this video. But this is the final one, and I'm not going to go deeper. This is seriously it. So, Kilton, he didn't specifically make the armor for the Lizalfos. Practically didn't at all. But if you think about it, he's in a lot of places. Zara's Domain, Lorelin Village, Hateno Village. But there's one place you rarely go to, that's Skull Lake. Around it are a lot of enemies. While I haven't been there recently, I don't know if Lizalfos are in there. But I can guarantee bokoblins are there. So, he gets a lot of business. Probably goes out and goes to bokoblins. If he loves monsters so much, he probably doesn't get mauled by them every time he's heading to his shop. So let's see. What does this involve with him? Well, that's actually really, really, really easy. You probably already figured it out. So, when I said really, really easy and you probably figured it out, maybe. I'm probably talking to the future theorist, the now theorist, or, wannabes. Not offensive. You can be a Nintendo theorist if you play a lot of games. But here's the one thing that I just noticed right off the bat. While I keep on saying Kilton did something big, it's not exactly to make armor, and it's not to help monsters, but his entire business itself, what his business did is give monsters a reason to monster around. That wasn't pun intended, actually. So, yeah, his business started this whole thing. I mean, look at Water Blight here. Slowly died because the malice is pouring out of him. If someone made a business off of getting monster parts and trading it for Mon, I've got one question. Who would actually do that? What kind of traveler actually kills monsters? If you go to Hateno forests or anything, you have to save the travelers, not help them defeat the monsters. You kill them. They usually get knocked out or give you food for saving them. So, isn't Link the only one giving him stuff? Lizalfos and them probably hate Link. Another reason to put on armor? Lizalfos, like I was saying, they would live underwater without armor. When they would come out of the water, when they grow up, here's one thing. First of all, they probably noticed there was a guy in a champion's tunic with a master sword on his back heading toward you. And if he's not wearing a mask, you think he's your enemy and you're about to attack. You have no protection. You're easily killed. Maybe. The key to the Lizalfos getting stronger is their armor. And when I mean stronger, bokoblins come in many different colors that make them stronger. Same thing with every monster, except Choo-Choos and Keys, and a select other few. But Lizalfos would always be scared of these, and people. And I'm sure that there's a few travelers out there like Link, fighting off monsters, being strong, having pure heart and strong, rapid weapons. Lizalfos would wear armor, custom made for them. They would make it, I don't know, from slamming their horn into some metal. You can hit their horn with bomb arrows and it won't destroy the horn. So it's strong enough. So the horn is durable. They bang it into some metal, shape it around their horn, probably slam it with their weapons. You know, it doesn't take much brain to know if you slam your horn into something, you slammed your head into something. Soon, they'll start banging it in. More armor. The Blood Moon would recreate them. The Blood Moon doesn't give birth to monsters, it revives them. You can notice this since Ganon's power gets stronger. And when you see the Blood Moon do things, it only makes them out of some kind of malice. So it's like saying that, yeah, they were underwater once, which is really true. They're probably still underwater sometimes, but they were regenerated. And just think for one moment. I'll be silent and just think. The Lizalfos. Imagine what it would be like if they never started wearing armor. I'll stop for at least 5 seconds. Just think. So, did you imagine? I hope you did, because I'm going to be basing it off of what I've always thought. The Lizalfos are regenerated, as well as every monster, since at the camps, they all look the same when they're regenerated, unless it's another Blood Moon and Ganon's power gets stronger and they get upgraded in power, which completely makes sense. So, yeah, we've got that all done. The Lizalfos without armor, they would be squished. I mean, seriously, they wouldn't stand a chance. And the Faron invasion, being from the rivers of Faron, they would learn that if they were around when the Zonai were around, which would make sense if they were around before Ganon comes, they would have to learn how to avoid a warlike tribe of the Zonai. They would wear armors, maybe even find some old armor, smash it together from the Zonai. Yeah, they usually wore skull and bones, but if you think about it, if they were war-driven, they would have to wear some kind of metal. There would have to be something there that was metal, allowing the Lizalfos to wear it. Soon, every time they built camps and other things, the Blood Moon would regenerate them with that strong armor. And ever since, they have worn it as a tribute to when they regenerate. So, thanks everyone. I mean, now we have a conclusion. Our conclusion was that they used this armor when they regenerate. Ever since, they've used it to go into their regions and invade them with a brutal attack. That brutal attack was invading with a ruthless plan. Nobody's ever seen Lizalfos with armor, and when they invaded, they won.